Hi, I'm Max Senior and welcome to the first edition of Barnsley Focus, produced by Barnsley Local Television. We'll be using social media to show off the positive side to the town and the people who live and work here. Now, all of us at BLTV have either been born and bred in Barnsley or chosen to live and work here, and we think it's a pretty good place to be. And with your help, we'd like to be even better. Now, we've got great admiration for the thousands of people who do voluntary work for all the community organisations, and we'd like to highlight and help communicate all that's being done. We'll also be talking to the many Barnsley characters who help make the town what it is. We're a totally independent group, so we've no political axe to grind with anyone. We just want Barnsley to have the reputation it deserves. On the programme today, I'll be talking to Alan Swan, who's the chairman of the Barnsley U3A. Now you might ask, what is U3A? You don't know? Well, you'll soon be finding out all about the U3A and its educational aims from Alan. Also on today's programme, Dave Hodgson has been dancing, would you believe, in Bark Green to the music of the Compton Theatre organ. We'll join Dave at the dance later to see how he's getting on. Also later in the programme, we'll be hearing from Emma Kirk, who's been to visit the Barnsley Animal Rescue Centre, affectionately known as BARC, Bark. That's B-A-R-C. I'm not surprised that it's called Bark. We'll be hearing about Emma's visit later. But first, we take a look at what's been happening in our town centre recently. If you haven't been there lately, you won't recognise it. It's now a paradise for shoppers, with newly built £2 million glasswork retail centre which already has stores such as Next, Sports Direct, TK Maxx, and there are many more to come. And we've now got a new look market and many indoor, outdoor eating areas. Now coming soon is a multi-screen cinema and a bowling alley which will help keep the town centre alive both day and night. That should suit the youngsters in our town. There's a new look Eldon Street as well. This is in the offing and hundreds more car parking spaces are going to be built. And right in the middle of it all is the public library and Lightbox, which not only offers books but also aims to be the hub of community activities with events, digital story times and of course virtual experiences. But at the end of the day, what do the people of Barnsley think? Now Don Chamberlain from BLTV has been to the town centre to find out.
What do you think to the new town centre?
Well, I think it's going to be all right. I think as long as they don't put the rates up for them too much and keep the prices fair enough, it'll be ideal.
What do you like best about it?
I like the flea markets.
Have you been coming into Barnsley a long time?
Oh, I've been coming in all my life, yes.
So it's changed.
Ever since '05.
It's changed quite a bit then.
Oh yes. I used to like the markets because it used to give the elderly time, come and have a coffee, meet up with their friends, do the shopping. Tuesday's a marvellous day.
I think it looks lovely. I think the market kitchen's really nice. It's a really nice place to go and eat. I'm excited to see what's to come next because I think it all looks really nice.
Well, I think when it's all, I mean, it ain't really finished yet, is it? There's a lot of work still going on in town. I think when it's really all finished, it will be better, you know.
Yes.
But at the moment, there's a lot of work, like you can say, there's a lot of work going on still, you know.
I think it's 100% improvement.
In what way?
Well, it's brighter, there's more shops, plenty of facility. The only thing that's short on there is the old market, isn't it? You know, when the old market was here, it was one of the biggest in Yorkshire.
I like the markets, shops, you know, your butchers and everything else. I come in for that.
Has it improved at all since?
When it gets finished, I think it'll be okay.
Oh,
but
it
it
has
seems to have been
improved.
going on and on and on and
It's
on.
been a
like,
mess
you know.
with, you know, cordoned off here and cordoned off there, you know.
Yes.
I mean, I know they've got to do it to get there. But when it's done, I think it'll be lovely.
There's a lot to choose from, there's a wide range. I like the food in the marketplace, there's nice choices in there and a nice quiet place to sit and have food.
Places to eat?
Yeah, there's loads of variety, there's Italian, Indian, there's loads of different places now. So yeah.
When we had the old market, when it were all the stalls in different places around here, it was 100% better, but we haven't got that now.
I quite like it actually, yeah. I was surprised, but I didn't think it would be as nice as what it is, but yeah, I think it's a nice feel.
What's
and
the
it
best
seems
part
quite
of it?
busy. I just like there seems to be more open now that they've built the new part of it. It seems to be more open and there's nice seating areas you can sit, yeah. And it just seems more bustling, there seems to be more people out enjoying the town.
But I think it'll be money well spent.
That was Don Chamberlain talking to some of the people in the new Barnsley Town Centre, and it seems that Barnsley's on the right track. Now, if you've ever been to Blackpool, you must have visited the Tower, and perhaps the magnificent Tower Ballroom, where there are regular tea dances to the music of the mighty Wurlitzer organ. When I was a child, I well remember doing my stuff in there on that magnificent dance floor. Well, do you know you don't have to go all the way to Blackpool for a tea dance with music provided by a mighty pipe organ, because would you believe there's something very similar happening every Wednesday afternoon in Bark Green. So if you do want to shake a leg, you can. And Dave Hodgson went to Bark Green to investigate.
Hello, are you a bit like me? You've become two people instead of one. The brain is wonderful, sharp as a razor. You can still run, you can still count, you can still joke. And it's wonderful, and you still look like a film star, all of you, don't you? And then, just as you're going somewhere, you take a look in the mirror, and what you see is something that kind of more resembles a ruined castle. And you get disappointed. Well, there's no need to be, because all you who like, well, let's say, luminous socks, bootleg ties, drain pipes, hoop skirts, cross your hearts, and I won't say more than that, then you're in for a treat. Company and a dance, because if you're like me, you used to go dancing before there was any discos or anything like that, because there used to be live bands. Well, there still is, and if you can't bop, then you can certainly do the dance that they're doing here. Where am I? Well, welcome to the Astoria Ballroom. It's a great place, and if you want a good afternoon out, come here. It's within a stone's throw of Barnsley at Bark Green, and it's called the Astoria. I think about time now we should be meeting the maestro who's playing all the live music here at the Astoria in Bark Green near Barnsley. Kevin.
Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you, and what amazing entertainment you personally create here.
Thank you very much, that's very kind.
How did you get into the organ thing, first of all? Because from my point of view, you're a young lad.
I wish. It all started actually as a 4-year-old on a day trip to Blackpool. Where else do we go?
Where else for an organ?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was pouring it down with rain, one of those very rare occurrences.
They like that at the Tower Ballroom.
And the place was packed, and Mum took me into the Tower Ballroom, closed my eyes, put her hands over my eyes. We walked in the ballroom, and she went, "There you are." And it was this magnificent building, which of course it still is today.
Yes,
it really
yes.
is. And the Wurlitzer came up out of the floor, and it was playing. I was just stood there as a 4-year-old with my chin on the ground.
Stands back in amazement.
Absolutely. This magnificent sound, and then the organ disappeared, and it wasn't non-stop dancing in those days, it was done in sessions. Well, I refused to move until I'd seen it come back up, because I wondered where it had gone. So Mum said, "Come on, we'll go around the rest of the complex." No, I was staying put until I'd seen it come back up. So once it came back up, I was fine, and we moved around the rest of the complex.
And you were hooked from there on?
I was hooked from there on. What was really interesting is, at that point, I wasn't particularly interested in the organ or whatever. It was some 10 years later that I began to learn to play the organ.
And it
as an
started
instrument.
getting very serious, didn't it?
Absolutely. And believe it or not, 20 years after that first encounter, it was me sat on that organ bench creating those memories for other 4-year-olds for 10 years.
Not every organist does it, but you've actually got master's qualifications, haven't you?
Yes, I did studied at Huddersfield School of Music, Barnsley College, the Electric Theatre Studios here in Barnsley, and then moved to Leeds University to do a degree, which I did, graduated there in 1994, so quite a while ago now.
Yeah. Just to change the subject for a bit, it's not just playing you're interested in. You've actually got a museum here, and you restore organs, don't you?
We do. It's the whole caboodle here at the Astoria Centre. I've always had a great interest in these instruments, not only from playing them, but also the backstage side of things. This is literally the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Behind the curtains here are over 1,400 pipes ranging from 16 feet down to some mere few inches. We restore all that in-house here at the Astoria Centre in the workshops. We have the largest collection of cinema organs in the UK here. A lot of them under restoration, but 3 of them will eventually be installed here at the centre.
How are you for volunteers doing the actual artisan and artist work off the organ?
We're entirely volunteer based, 100% volunteers. Lots of people come to find us, quite by accident more often than not. They like it, they get hooked. Lots of people may be interested in woodwork, metalwork, wiring, painting.
Or recently retired chippies.
Quite a lot of that kind of thing.
And commercial artists.
Absolutely, you know.
Get the old Wurlitzer and Comptons painted up as
That's
they should
exactly
be.
what it is, something to do. Lots of people come and they say, we have no knowledge about these things. It doesn't matter. People learn as they go along. A lot of it's very much hands-on, whether it's cleaning, stripping things down, repairing. We're almost like a huge repair shop ourselves here, you know. So,
there's another sideline. Start taking in repaired organs.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
But it's
do
a
you?
happy bunch of volunteers.
Sounds
you know,
it.
we sort of all get on. It's a wonderful social aspect of we have some fun. Quite a lot of leg pulling and things along the way. But yeah, it's all great.
Right. Well, what can I say other than more power to your, fingers, I should say, shouldn't I? And so if anybody wants to know, just pop down and say, I'm interested in volunteering.
Absolutely. We're here at the Astoria Centre, Unit 16A, Metro Trading Centre at Bark Green. We do have a website, which is www.astoriacentre.co.uk, and we're on Facebook as well, or at Astoria Centre.
I'll let you into a little secret now, boys and girls. This is Kevin's break. He should be resting. He's already played an hour and a quarter, and I'm taking up his time. So I'll tell you what, we better leave him to it. Thanks ever so much, Kevin.
It's a pleasure.
And that was Dave Hodgson reporting from Bark Green. If you like dancing, why not pop over on a Wednesday afternoon to the Astoria Centre? I think the doors open at 12 noon and the dancing starts at 1 o'clock through until 4 p.m. Now the Barnsley Animal Rescue Centre, or BARC, is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and Emma Kirk has been finding out more about what they do there. So it's over to you, Emma.
Thank you, Max. I am here at the Barnsley Animal Rescue Centre today, talking to Kerry and Angela and Frank and Otis. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. So we're here at the Barnsley Animal Rescue Centre. How long have you guys been in operation?
So BARC's been running for I believe 20 years at least. We've been up in these new premises now for a year, which everyone's all settled in, and we're all ready to go.
So in terms of you're taking cats, dogs, how many do you currently have in the shelter?
So at the moment we're full with cats, so we've got 8 pens, we've got 2 in one pen at the same time. We can kennel up to 15 dogs, but really at the moment rehoming has been pretty well. So we have got 5 dogs at the minute.
Tell us a little bit about Otis.
So Otis arrived with Frank. They came together about June time. Basically, these two have had an injury in the past, so which I think is slowed down the rehoming for these 2 guys. Okay. They are looking for actually a home, ideally in a rural area, so they can go outside and have a wander without causing any further injuries.
Okay. So how old is Otis?
How old? He's 9.
Getting on to be an elderly gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay, so he needs a lovely forever home to go to.
He does.
And one with Frank? Is he going with Frank?
No, he's ideally better off on his own, Otis. He's a real little cuddly guy, and he does prefer being on his own. They did arrive together, but Frank didn't enjoy the company, so they are much happier separately.
So if people want to come and adopt Otis, for example, how do they go about that?
So first of all, they visit the website, and we have got a rehoming questionnaire form to fill in. So potential adopters fill the form in first, and then if we think they're suitable, we'll be in touch, arrange a meet and a home check.
And what if people just want to help you out? I know you've got some shops that they can visit to spend money in, and that obviously supports and funds you, but how else can they get involved?
So people can volunteer, help cleaning. We do really appreciate volunteers to come help clean the cats and dogs. Some people do sponsor walks, that kind of thing, to help raise funds. So yeah, there is other ways that you can get involved, and for more information you can visit website.
Best to speak to you about crazy fundraising activities, I should imagine, in advance.
Yes, myself or Kath Bailey.
So what's the most bizarre fundraising activity you've done, Angela?
I don't think I've really done a fundraising activity that's bizarre.
How do you tend to raise your money then when you work here as a volunteer?
No, I'm a member of staff.
Okay.
Yeah, so since I've been here, we've not done a lot. We've not really done any fundraising activities, mainly because of COVID and that. So we've not been able to do things like that. Where I used to work before, we used to have a lot of open days and that, and I think that's what, they used to do at Barnsley Animal Rescue, but that's all been put on hold. So it's been really hard over the pandemic for any animal charity to raise money in that. Obviously, for some of the time, a lot of the shops were shut and that. So we're only sort of just getting back to normal now. So maybe we can do something.
I'm gonna suggest a couple of things, perhaps. You can do zorbing. Zorbing's really good. Everyone does parachute jumps. I don't suggest that. That sounds like a terrifying experience.
No, I don't think I'd do a parachute jump. But I'm up for
What about sitting in a vat of beans?
No, I don't think I'll do that.
So as we round up then, is there anything you'd like to say to people who may want to get involved or perhaps raise funds or adopt?
Yeah, they can get in touch via the website. All the information is on there, or they can give us a call on the mobile number. All information is on the website again, the contact details, and we'll be happy to speak to them.
Thank you very much, ladies, for your time, and thank you for allowing me to meet Otis and Frank.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't put them back in the pen because they were getting a bit agitated, and I thought they were going to have a dance off then. But yeah, sorry, but I didn't put them back.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Max.
Thanks, Emma. That report from Emma Kirk at the Barnsley Animal Rescue Centre. And if you want to adopt one of the cats or dogs that they've got there, give them a call on that mobile number. Now, Barnsley's got over 1,000 organisations whose volunteers play a big part in changing lives for the better. Alan Swan is chairman of possibly the biggest, the Barnsley branch of U3A. And I went over to Alan's house recently to talk about what the U3A is and what it does. So really, Alan, how did you get involved in the U3A? Because you retired in 2008. Was it straight away? Did you know about it? What really happened? How did you get into it?
Okay. Well, no, I didn't know about it, and this is typical in that people have not heard of the U3A. I retired with my own intentions to get the garden up to date, do all the decorating, go to New Zealand for a few weeks, all the things that you do when you retire. But then when you come back, you've got to start thinking, well, now what do I do with my life? And one of the things that Anna and myself had always said was that we'd try Crown Green bowling. And down at Ardsley Park, we'd been told there was a group that met in the morning for social bowling as against the competitive bowling. So we went and found out more about that, and we were told, oh, it's a U3A group. U3A, what does that mean? So I found out more about it, and that started my interest in it, not just the bowling, but within a few months I've been given the opportunity, because no one else wanted the job, to be chairman. It was a bit soon, a bit early, but it's the sort of thing I'd done in my working life, so I took the opportunity to become chairman. And at that stage you then find out all about it and the good work that it does. We've now got, just to give a feel for this, I think we had 400 members when I joined back in 2009 it was when I joined, and we've now got 1,200 members.
It's fantastic.
It's because when Barnsley people see a good thing, they recognise it and tell people about it, and we're gaining a lot of kudos as a result of our members saying, well, this is great, why didn't I know about it before? And it was Barnsley's best kept secret for older people. The U3A is for retired or partial retired people to get together, to share their experiences, to share their passions, to share their interests. And that might be going on a walk together, it might be playing cards together, it might be temping bowling together. It could be anything that any member wants to do that other members want to join in.
And there's some fantastic groups, I do know that. So in the early years there were just a few groups. Now if you fast forward right up to the present day, there are many different groups. So let's just take a look at some of them, Alan.
Okay.
In the first clip that you're going to see, it's a walking football group, and I know that you're involved in walking football.
You know, I used to play football 50 years ago, and it's giving the chance for people in the 60s, 70s, the oldest member who plays football is 81, for them to relive their youth from 50 years before. And it's amazing. I mean, there's a competitive element, as you well know, but it's just to be able to play football with a group of people who are like-minded, who want to just have a go at remembering how it used to be all those years ago.
And it's the exercise as well.
And a lot of the groups that we have are of the type of exercise that is good for you. The walking groups, the walking cricket group that is relatively new.
Yeah.
So yeah, badminton, table tennis.
Now for a number of years, you were the actual coordinator for the Temping Bowling Group. Yeah, there's a Temping Bowling Group, folks, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I joined the U3A through my wife, actually. She were in it for years, then I retired and came into it. And what an organisation it is. You know, bowling, like we had earlier, every Monday morning. I bowled for 17 years for I even joined U3A, so it was a good thing to come back and get some more experience with it. Really good. Also, brass band, that's another thing. I played as a kid at school, then gave it up, picked a guitar up, and didn't play for 54 years. And I've come back, and now we've formed a band, a brass band, which is good. Also, I'm in the bridge group. When we get it back, you know, I used to be in the walking group until brass band started. So, you know, quite good, quite good.
So of the many groups on offer to its members, there's one that's quite close to my heart, Alan, as you know, and that's the Old Blowers. Now, for the benefit of viewers, let me briefly explain. The Old Blowers is a group of old brass players who have come together and created a brass ensemble, and it all started in November 2017 when I read an article that said that if you learn a different language or take up music, it will help to stave off dementia. And so, to cut a long story short, we actually formed a group in the U3A called the U3A Brass Ensemble, and it's really a strong group. So let's just have a listen and a clip of what the old blowers are actually doing. So, coming back to you, Alan, the U3A in general, why is it so important to the people of Barnsley?
Well, I mean, it's not just Barnsley. I mean, there are U3As in every town and city across the country, over 1,000 U3As in total.
That's an important point to raise, isn't it? I didn't realise it was so, you know, UK-wide.
It is.
It's actually, is it not worldwide, Alan?
It is. Well, it started in France, actually,
Yeah.
and there are many other countries. I mean, Australia, New Zealand, they've got U3As, and many countries have got similar organisations, not necessarily going under the title of the U3A. And the movement in this country is 40 years old next year, 2022. The U3A in the UK will be 40 years old, and this year, as you know, Barnsley U3A is 25 years old, so that's how long, you know, the U3A has been around, but many people are still not aware. It's important, I think, because, I mean, I've done a lot of work studying and looking at this, and certainly since I retired, it's a fact that the biggest cause of death amongst old people is loneliness. It doesn't say that on the death certificate, but it's accepted by the medical fraternity that loneliness starts the downward spiral and leads people into all sorts of illnesses, diseases and difficulties. And if we can do something about that, the loneliness and isolation agenda is a big one. And you mentioned we've been working with Age UK, and we have on this particular agenda. And if we can reduce the amount of loneliness by offering opportunities for people to get together, to interact with others, I think we're helping not just the quality of life, providing a better quality of life for people, but helping the health service to avoid having to put all the time and resources, which is a big issue, into managing and looking after and caring for older people.
Well, you mentioned that it was established way back in 1996. And so, as you point out also, that it's this year celebrating the 25th anniversary. And its membership has increased year on year, really without much publicity. In fact, it's been said, as you said right at the very beginning, it's one of Barnsley's best kept secrets. But I know that you don't want it to be kept a secret because there are so many people out there in our community that can benefit from all these different activities, which has now reached something like 120, am I right?
120, 130 activities. We're recounting at the moment because having had the lockdown, one or two of the groups have folded. And that's the natural consequence, I suppose, of people finding other things to do, or perhaps having a dip in their motivation to do things. So 120 is about right. Those are the activities that we have on offer. But that number, it could be any number, in the sense of if people join us and want to do something that we're not doing, we give the opportunity for them to create that, see what interest there is, and then the group is formed. That's the basis of the way that we develop the organisation. But our strategic aim in the U3A is not to grow the organisation, but it's to make people in Barnsley aware of who we are. And if they're aware of who we are, they'll make their own judgments as to whether they want to find out more and join in or not.
So we've had the 25th anniversary, that went down a storm. I mean, you've already explained, I was going to say to you, what really drives you on, because this is, no, it's next year you actually stand down from is it the second stint or the third stint that you've been chair?
It's the second.
The second stint.
Yeah.
And obviously the rules say that you have to stand down. And I know that you are so passionate about the U3A. What's going to come after that? Are you going to just continue with the groups, or look to stay on the executive committee, or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll always be a U3A member as far as I'm concerned at the moment. I can't continue on the committee because the Constitution doesn't allow that. I've done 6 years, I've done 6.5 actually since I came back. And that's the maximum that anyone can do in the position of chairman. But then you've got to stand down, not just from that position, but from the committee itself.
Yeah.
And it's to avoid stagnation. I understand the principle. It's a bit frustrating in some respects, but I think I've still got things to offer. But I can understand the principle that if you allow people to congregate together in the centre and manage something indefinitely, it can stagnate or go in the direction that perhaps is not the appropriate direction.
Okay.
So I accept what has to happen.
So there you have it, folks. An in-depth interview with Alan and the wonderful Barnsley U3A. Which brings us to the end of our Barnsley Focus for today. We hope you've enjoyed our trip around Barnsley and just a snippet of some of the wonderful voluntary groups and organisations. So watch out over the coming weeks as we hope to continue our travels and visits to other groups, and along the way talk to some very fascinating individuals with interesting stories to tell. As they say in Barnsley, be seeing ya. Ta-ra for now.